is hard to get a hold of, so I've had to use footage from other shows and channels that...
There's a guy named Mondays. Very good. Well done. I only clipped it. I didn't take the whole production. Did a great job, though. He does sound like Cardiff a little bit.
Archive and discuss John, which kind of puts a bias on this, but he deletes all his stuff, so I got no other choice. John's journey to cowdom starts all the way back to July 17th, 2018, when a podcast called Who Are These Podcasts, WATP for short, covered the Stuttering John podcast. WATP is hosted by Carl with the gimmick of finding, reviewing, and roasting podcasts, usually terrible ones, for comedic purposes. Needless to say, John did not appreciate his review, so he responded poorly, which gave WATP more to cover, which made John more mad, so he responded again, giving WATP more content to discuss. Do you see the pattern here? I call it the Stutjo cycle.
John is so stupid, John. Since you erase or delete your broadcast immediately after you do them, you mess up the logarithm. When people look you up, they find my videos, they find Carl's videos, they find Shuli's videos, but they don't find you because you're an idiot.
All lolcows have a tendency to be unable to take any sort of real criticism, or at the very least brush it off. Literally all of them do this. An emotionally healthy adult does not. This drew more and more negative attention to John as WATP grew because everyone loves to laugh at a clown. In comes the bane of John's existence, the Uncle Rico Show. Who Are These Podcasts may be the start of John's career as a law.
Uncle Rico was Napoleon Dynamite's delusional uncle, the football player. Remember with the band? He's going to throw a football over a mountain. He's going to be an NFL, top guy. That's Uncle Rico.
But Rico is the center of his thoughts. Named after the character Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, who constantly lived in his glory days and exaggerated his skills.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains? Well, the coach would have put me in fourth quarter. We'd have been state champions, no doubt. No doubt in my mind.
The Uncle Rico Show is entirely dedicated to watching and ripping on John, whereas WATP only uses John as a show segment. Hosted by comedians and extern staffers, Shuli Egar, Reverend Bob Levy, Mike Morse, and Anthony Zenhauser. Rico was started in 2022 by Shuli, who actually knows John from back in the Stern days, when Shuli would call into the show while John was a call screener, his actual job at Stern. This gives Shuli a rare insight to John that most people in the Dabbleverse do not have.
Yeah, Shuli used to call in, and from that he got a job at Stern. He was there for 15 years on salary, not an intern.
Oh yeah, the world of Stuttering John is called the Dabbleverse because one time John overreacted to what he saw was an insult, thus earning him the name the Dabbler.
Do you think that Trump has been good for comedy?
Chrissy Mayer. M-A-Y-R.
Is this whole interview going to be about Trump, or?
If you really don't want to talk about it, I just figured. I thought you had done. I thought you had dabbled occasionally in stand-up, so that's why I brought that up.
I dabbled occasionally, really.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a thing you were really doing or not, and I wasn't sure.
No, I've been doing stand-up for 20 years. I don't dabble.
Okay, that's good. Customers allowed in, like if you.
20 years to not perfect your craft. 20 years, and you didn't improve or change your act. What a loser. Unbelievable.
We're able to, rebook anything in the last few months since things have opened up again.
But to say I dabbled in stand-up is so
You didn't answer the question. You see, she's getting him, and he can't deal with it. She just told him, you haven't been doing it, so what's the story? He didn't answer.
Respectful. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all. And yet you respect me and say I
dabbled. I mean, I could have picked a different word. I didn't know that it was your main thing, honestly.
I dabbled in stand-up. Okay. I mean, that's so disrespectful, and I'm doing your show.
Dabbling would be a compliment compared to your stand-up act and quality.
I honestly, I don't know the extent to which you do stand-up. I mean, isn't that the point of an interview? Is like, oh, you can correct me if I'm wrong about something.
No. You dabbled in stand-up when?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much stand-up you do, John. It was just an honest thing.
Play all over and say I dabbled in stand-up. Come on.
So you're more than a dabbler. That's fine.
He doesn't even dabble. He sucks at everything he does now.
John hates Shuli. John really hates Shuli. So much so that he tried to get Shuli fired from Stern by claiming that Shuli was a mole for John, leaking private show information to him when he wasn't. And much like most other lolcows, John cannot and will not ever hide his hatred of his quote-unquote enemies. Now, to be fair to John, if I had an entire show with professional comics making fun of me multiple times a week,
When John told Howard, the show said that Shuli was his mole, Shuli was working there and John was not. John was gone. So that made it even worse.
I don't think that I could be able to hide it either. But John is psychologically incapable of rolling with the punches. Early on, he was even invited onto the show so that they could all watch and laugh at John's buffoonery in good faith, going so far as to offering to split the super chats the live stream made with John. But John refused, as he is one of the most prideful people I have ever seen. Lolcows tend to be very prideful, and like a lolcow, John believes he is great at just about everything he does, from comedy.
Something against fat chicks. I once had the best blowjob with a fat chick. I was thinking she was hungry or something, but I'll take it. True story. Her name was Missy. I brought her home. She, 2 in the morning, she blows me again. I come in like 10 seconds. She's like, John, now what are you going to do for me? So I baked the lasagna. Yeah. This is fun.
To music.
And after this, he drove home. There's video of him drunk driving. He denies everything.
To improv.
I could come up with funny, original things that I do. You see? Fatty, Patty, why are you so fat? Fatty, Patty.
He's back in the 4th grade. Look at this.
Patty, don't give yourself this or that. Stop eating so much. Stop yelling to the clouds. You are an idiot. I don't know. You shouldn't be allowed
It's so bad.
to tweet. All right, let's go.
And that all the mockery of him comes from jealousy of his success from 20 years ago. John also has a tendency to list every accomplishment he has ever done, going
30 years ago, not 20, 30.
through his entire resume back to when he played all-city trumpet in 2nd grade. And he does it every chance he gets, especially when he's trying to convince others that he's more famous and talented than them. And he's really not. If you were to ask anyone today that aren't old school Stern fans, they will have no idea who John is. Yet he still pretends to be humble and claims that he's a C or D list celebrity.
What the fuck are you talking about?
As I've already mentioned, John is also broke. After an expensive divorce and tons of child support that he definitely pays, he has run through basically all of his finances. Supposedly, after his divorce, he burned through $100K in a single year just from partying. So he's obviously great with money. He went from living in a mansion and making
The $100K was the leaving bonus Leno gave him, the show, NBC. And he didn't give a nickel to his wife, ex-wife at that time.
$500,000 a year to living in squalor in Canoga Park, an area in Los Angeles famous for its above-average violent crime rate and a high property crime rate. So a ghetto. And then for the last year or so, John had been living in a filthy studio apartment.
Oh. Whoa! Oh! Fuck.
Where John just throws his empties on the floor. And now he's currently living with his sister or mother in New York, and he's still throwing his empties on the floor of someone else's house.
You're not happy with your son now, I heard. And you shouldn't be.
Living in self-afflicted filth and poverty is another common cow trait. It applies to more specific cows, but a lot of them are pretty gross and unhygienic. John's biggest and most blatant issue, though, is his alcoholism. Much like King Cobra and Only Use Me Blade, it is incredibly rare to see John without some sort of alcohol, and he usually drinks until he gets very drunk on camera. He denies being an alcoholic because Coors Light, his drink of choice, is basically water, and that he's really just hydrating. John claims that real alcoholics only drink hard liquor. Also, I just looked it up, and Coors Light only has 0.8% less alcohol per can than a regular Coors. Fucking idiot. Yeah, drinking a 24-pack of unrefrigerated shitty light beer every day is definitely not the sign of a severe drinking problem. And considering that alcoholism in men is defined as consuming more than 5 drinks on a given day or more than 14 drinks a week, John definitely fits that bill. Sometimes John will drink a dozen beers in just one of his shows. Alongside his tendency to chug everything he drinks, from Mountain Dew to Ensure, I feel like John has inadvertently trained himself to chug anything the way he chugs beer, his most consumed beverage. His drinking is so bad that anytime John claims to be drinking water, his chat assumes he's lying and is really just drinking vodka out of a water bottle. This substance abuse has aged John far beyond his years. This is the visual change he's gone through in only 6 years. The man is only 58 for God's sake, but he looks like he's in his mid-70s. Though, to be fair, alcohol is not his only vice.
John, can we discuss your new problem about how you like to get yourself lightheaded a little bit?
I don't
What is
care.
he doing?
Oh, I heard you're doing, I heard you're snorting.
What is he doing?
Whipped cream cans?
Whippets.
Yeah. Whippets?
Yeah, when I was in high school, I used to do whippets, and now I've grown, I have an affection for them again.
What is a whippet?
He keeps a ready whip cam by him, and every 10 seconds in front of people, he's snorting like a junior high guy.
Dude, that's dangerous.
Whippets.
If I snip it
Well, I mean, it only hurts your brain.
It got really bad when I was in a limo on the way to a gig, and it was me and Jim and the comics, and my agent called me yelling at me that the one of the improvs was mad that I was doing whippets.
There are so many things to talk about regarding his health, from his constant mentioning of his hemorrhoids, to his bent and gnarled fingers, to his claims that he used to have dick warts.
Did you know genital warts causes cervical cancer, which is one of the leading causes of cancer in women? John? So it doesn't matter how much you say you don't have dick warts anymore, John. You always have dick warts, John. You can't say, I used to have dick warts, I got rid of them. It's a virus. It's always there, stupid.
The man is just a mess. Far too many things to talk about in a single video. What I will mention, though, is that John is not a clean person. And by that, I mean, I don't think he showers all that often. He often has a greasy look to him and oily-looking skin, implying a lack of regular bathing. John has a habit of pointing at the camera when he's mad or wants to try and make a point, and every time he does, you can clearly see the shit under his fingernails. John also claims he sweats every time he takes a shower, and I don't know about you, but I've never heard of that aside from John, who lies about every single aspect of his life. So like basically the vast majority of lolcows, John very likely does not shower regularly, or at the very least, he clearly does not wash his hands.
You know, my daughter and I, Lily, have been talking about going to to see Star Wars again. We both saw it once, but she was like, come on, let's go tonight, Dad. And I'm like, I can't, sweetie. I didn't shower today, and I smell like ass. And it's true. She didn't want to go near me after that.
He also has a nasty habit of wiping his snot with his arm instead of using a tissue, something that a 5-year-old does. And his nose is constantly dripping. This likely being due to the poor condition he lives with 2 cats in a small apartment full of garbage that he does not clean, where he himself admits that he rarely changes the litter box. Gross.
He said he only changes it when he can smell it.
This idiot does not take care of himself. Note that with every single negative thing I have pointed out about John, John makes up some sort of lie about the topic. This is because John is a pathological liar. He does this as a defense mechanism so that his ego will not be shattered by the crushing reality of the truth of what his life has become. He lies about being an alcoholic, he lies about being rich, and he lies about being fired from his substitute teaching job. That's right. This man is a sub and in charge of teaching people's children, or was at least. But he's not even good at lying because he tells so many lies that he can't keep them all straight and always gets caught. Unrelated but smart people can usually maintain a few lies.
He's too stupid to lie properly. He can't remember what he said after 10 minutes.
For a little while without slipping up. Just saying. Plus, John also has a ton of tells when he lies, to stall for time to come up with a lie.
I didn't berate the mom. I just thought that she should have done an intervention. I was trying to help her. No, I wasn't going to do that at all. I don't know what decon is.
And he also stutters when he lies. It's been pointed out that he only really ever stutters these days when he's lying, so he may not even actually have a stutter. In one of his newest tells, he just claims that he doesn't remember when people point out the shitty things he's done, including stuff that was only days ago. Many lolcows are pathological liars, and terrible ones at that, because they're all stupid. But let's say that John doesn't think he's lying, and in fact he's delusional and believes he's telling the truth. That's another common lolcow trait. Chris Chan, Cobes, Daniel Larson, and Cyrax are all incredibly delusional and often end up believing the lies that they tell others. Now, like with all lolcows, some people will start to feel bad for John because people are constantly fucking with him. But John does not deserve sympathy. At all. Because John always takes things way too far. You take a jab at him, John goes for your throat.
Thanks for the $2. How'd you come up with that? Did you return some bottles? To be honest, John, I don't think the story has legs. No, Quad does not have legs. And that is Quad's punishment. God is punishing him. Karma is punishing him. The universe is punishing him. And they're punishing him for being a criminal. And also for fucking doing what you're of a Catholic. No, it's not.
Even when it's among friends or comedians just busting each other's balls, John cannot handle any sort of criticism and has to come out on top.
Yeah,
and he has no wit, so he uses 5th grade logic when he tries to roast you. You're too short, you're too fat, you're bald, like that. Dumbass.
It's a comedy romp through my life, and I have plenty of stories.
Comedy romp?
It's a comedy romp.
Who wrote it? Mel Brooks?
It's like when you tried to kill yourself and fucking failed and fucking drank bleach.
What is that about?
Yeah, okay. How do you know? When
Yeah, that was warranted.
Yeah, it was because you know what, Artie? Like
I made fun of your joke, and you made fun of me trying to kill me.
Yeah, well, what the fuck? you seem to be okay with just trashing people
I'm
on
fine
a
with
regular basis.
What
But
the-
yet you can't take it when it comes the other way.
I'm taking it right now.
No, I've seen you get so angry when somebody says something bad about you.
over.
Should have came here by
No,
myself.
I've seen that happen.
Much better if I'd have been here by
I've seen
myself.
that happen. Like that's why I gotta.
Well, let's move on from this ugliness.
No, because I always
Let me get over it. Let's move on.
No, I always treat you like I can't make too many jokes about you because
Well, I know you clearly you put on the kid gloves
No, I do.
with the suicide joke.
The
That wasn't
only,
even a joke.
the only reason why he got saved is because his mom was bringing food over for him.
John.
It's not even funny.
Oh yeah.
John will threaten people with violence. He will try to take people's Patreon and YouTube channels down. He'll try to get people fired and take away their livelihoods. He will make up lies to gain sympathy and
And remember, with all his threats, he's 5'5", little dumpy little midget.
discredit his detractors. He will mock people's dead family members.
Nada! Nada!
And his favorite weapon of all, John likes to dox.
Oh, by the way, does anybody know Dr. Steve's last name? Dr. Steve. I need Dr. Steve's last name, please. If anybody can get me Dr. Steve's last name, I will send you a signed T-shirt. I need Dr. Steve's last name for a very important reason.
John, you are a fucking piece of garbage. I said at the beginning of the show, I'll say it again now, don't you dare mention Dr. Steve's name again. He did nothing to you. He's not in this world. He likes to come to live shows.
Dr. Steve went to Dabblecon and wore a Stuttering John t-shirt. And John got pussy hurt.
And have fun with his friends. And guess what? We like having fun with him.
On the internet, people like to use fake names and monikers because unlike John, we are not celebrities. John was a celebrity at one point and tries to use that to gain internet celebrity for money so everyone knows his real name and identity, giving anonymous onlookers and trolls a significant advantage that he does not have. This angers John because, once again, John cannot handle any sort of loss in his mind. So in response, John will try to find out any detractor's private information and dox them live on his stream.
People, I'm going to say this again because I hit over the hour mark. Somebody get me Cardiff Electric's real identity. I need the real one. My PI will search it up, will cross-check, and verify. I need Cardiff Electric's name and at least, well, I'm pretty sure the country he lives, but at least where he lives. That's it. His name, I'll take it, and I'll give you 500.
After very blatantly trying to threaten and blackmail them first. This reminds me a lot of Chris Chan when he tried doxing Clyde Cash and Surfshack Tito.
I am ready to initiate negotiations and paybacks with the trolls and cyberbullies that have been defiling me within the past 5 years, within the past 4 years. Firstly, I would like to make it well known that I have information of such trolls and cyberbullies, of which, at that point, if I released them, they could be easily trolled back by anyone. And the first among the chopping block I would like to ensue, Surfshack Tito, or should I say, Don in Michigan. Now, Don, let's talk business. If you do not want me to reveal the entire photograph or any of the remainder of your information of which I have upon my possession, you will follow my demands. And they are listed as such. I want you to come forward.
This kid's good. He talks like a supervillain. And those are retard. You and John should have a show together.
With your participation in PlayStation Network hackings. I would also like you to send me via U.S. mail $1,000 cash, American, unmarked bills. Snail mail to my home address in a long, small white envelope with your home address clearly, legibly, handwritten on the envelope.
Fortunately, though, John is incredibly stupid and is usually fed false information to make him look even dumber.
Yes. So, I told John the name. I made up the name. Tim Dransky is an anagram for my trans kid. Okay?
No, dude, no fucking way.
That's amazing. That's and John is so proud of knowing that name. He loves saying it. Timothy D. Hamilton. He loves saying it over and over again. So you came up with that.
He convinced John that Tim Dransky was Cardiff. He also trolled him as a woman on a dating site, and John fell into that like a horny dog.
Yes, so I gave him that name, knowing that it's a made-up name. There is no Timothy Dransky. You can't find it anywhere. So there would be no way anyone else would have given him that name. So he immediately goes on to a show, and he's like, I've had Cardiff, I've had your name for a long time. A lot of people have given it to me. Like, once I told him, it was because I told him that I was going to be sending Cardiff a package, right? So John had to wait till I pulled my prank on Cardiff, and then I would let John expose Cardiff.
Okay.
So I give him the information. The other day, he's like losing his mind on the show. So I tell him, you can go ahead and say his name. So he starts saying the name, and he's saying, a lot of people have given this to me. I've had it for ages. He had it for like a week. Now, the crazy thing is...
You're saying he's a liar?
He's a liar. Well, here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. When you know the truth and you watch John talk, you realize, like, to whatever degree people think he's a liar, it's 1,000 times worse.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy. So John begins to grill me as to how I have this information. I told him a very believable story about being involved in counterintelligence in the military. I kept Cardiff in the loop the whole time it was what was happening. So I give John that information. He's so excited. He's like, everything is turning. He's like, I can't believe what a good friend you are. He's like, this guy is so lonely.
Unbelievable.
It's bananas, okay? So he's like messaging me every day, just like, when are you going to find out where like we're muttering Jay somewhere, and how John's like trying to explain it. You can't find it anywhere. So there would be no way anyone else would have given him that name. So he immediately goes on to a show, and he's like, I've had Cardiff, I've had your name for a long time. A lot of people have given it to me. Like, once I told him, it was because I told him that I was going to be sending Cardiff a package, right? So John had to wait till I pulled my prank on Cardiff, and then I would let John expose Cardiff.
Okay.
So I give him the information. The other day, he's like losing his mind on the show. So I tell him, you can go ahead and say his name. So he starts saying the name, and he's saying, a lot of people have given this to me. I've had it for ages. He had it for like a week. Now, the crazy thing is...
You're saying he's a liar?
He's a liar. Well, here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. When you know the truth and you watch John talk, you realize, like, to whatever degree people think he's a liar, it's 1,000 times worse.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy. So John begins to grill me as to how I have this information. I told him a very believable story about being involved in counterintelligence in the military. I kept Cardiff in the loop the whole time it was what was happening. So I give John that information. He's so excited. He's like, everything is turning. He's like, I can't believe what a good friend you are. He's like, this guy is so lonely.
Unbelievable.
It's bananas, okay? So he's like messaging me every day, just like, when are you going to find out where when are you going to find out, like, where Muttering Jay lives? And so I give him this name, Frank Bowden. It turns out there is a Frank Bowden. He's like a young Asian kid getting a PhD somewhere, and how John's, like, trying to explain it. So he messages me one morning, and he says, there's, like, a big problem. Cardiff mentioned December 21st in a tweet. That's the day I get paid from YouTube. Now, this is the morning of the show where he has the meltdown, okay? Now, I message Cardiff, and I'm like, what's December 21st? He's like, that's the deadline for Tukey to file his response, right?
Right.
So but John thinks Cardiff is planning a cyber attack. So, or he doesn't know what it is, but he thinks he's planning something on the day that John's going to get paid. So I said to John, I'm like, John, my people have found some chatter to suggest that Cardiff is going to be redirecting your funds from your bank account to a bank account of his choosing using malware.
That's where he came up with that shit. All right, can I stop you real quick?
Yeah,
I have the clips. I want to play these to put some context to this.
Wait, Carl. Before you do, I want you to notice he repeats what I told him word for word. He goes, he's going to do it to his bank account or a bank account of his choosing. Like he's a parent. It's dumb.
Choose mine. Use my bank account.
I'll give you my routing number right now, Cardiff.
Yeah, come on, use mine.
But unfortunately, John has succeeded a couple times in doxing people, and even goes so far as to spell out their names every time he says them in a very childish way. Fortunately, the people that he has successfully doxed are well-adjusted humans and can handle this without tard raging like John would. He doesn't even just go after his trolls and detractors. John has even doxed several of his former moderators and friends who simply asked him to stop talking about them.
And I was there for Nikki, but she couldn't do one thing for me. So fuck off, Andrea Brower. Nikki B, Nikki B, Nikki B, Nikki B. Nikki B. That's how much I think of you, Nikki. You couldn't have done that one fucking thing for me.
Not to mention, he's doxed himself by accident on multiple occasions.
Because he agreed. Oh, this was my house. It's pretty nice. So there's the pavers. I mean, first of all, I love the color.
He's doxed himself, his mother, and his emails, everything. So stupid. Phone numbers.
It's a pretty big piece of property, and you know these are the insides, and
come on, boy.
Nice place for a broke guy, huh, Vince?
If that wasn't bad enough, John likes to dox family members, posting the names and pictures of people's significant others, parents, siblings, nieces and nephews, etc. At one point, he even gloated about having beaten off to nudes of Carl's wife, which he obviously didn't have.
And I'm watching all of the idiotic lies and ridiculous assumptions by Lady Kmart. And I only come to the conclusion that he must be mentally handicapped. But his wife? Oofa. It looks like a combination of Ray Stern and Howard Stern, and it looks...
How creative. John, you still have those nudes that you were jerking off to?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
It was only a month ago he was jerking off to nudes of her, and now he's grossed out.
So he was jerking off to Howard Stern.
Well, that might be true.
Howard's parents. Worse. Even worse.
Now that Ralph's gone, someone's got to jerk off to Howard Stern.
As well as claiming to have pictures of Shuli and Mike Morse's underage children. That's really fucking weird if you ask me. John claims he goes after families because others went after his family first. All starting years ago when Carl made a half-assed joke about how his kids must be losers if John was dedicating his terrible book to them.
All right, let's start off with the foreword to the book. John reads the foreword. And this is the very first thing that he does.
I dedicate this book to my 3 wonderful kids.
Oh, this guy's a fucking alkie.
Those kids are like fucking losers. You're dedicating this book to those fucking losers? I heard that his kids are all losers. You hear about this? Yeah. Producer Chris, what a bunch of losers.
But they're good looking, right?
For a guy who doesn't want his kids brought up ever, he sure brings them up a lot, doesn't he?
All right, I got a little something for this if you want to play my number 2. And I added it. You can tell when the 2 clips are joined together. You'll be able to tell.
Okay.
I dedicate this book to my 3 wonderful kids.
I couldn't get it up. What a failure.
I have dreamed about having you since I was a little boy, and you have surpassed all of my expectations. Still, the most important part was being a father to my 3 wonderful kids.
Can I wish Nick Gurr a happy birthday?
Those kids sound like fucking losers. Are you talking about his loser kids again?
Well, I put that together because that's less than a minute apart in his read.
Right.
He has to say them in order because I think he's going to forget one of them.
Right,
So it's like dabble, babble, and flop or something like that. Wink and blink and nod, whatever. But it's such a strange thing to say. I dreamt about having you since I was a little boy.
But he always brings up these sorts of things to this day, so in reality, John is the one putting his kids in the spotlight of his own bullshit. Which isn't that bad when compared to the fact that John sold a photo of his eldest child for $300 to use in a documentary about Anthony Cumia, another former radio personality and ex-friend of John's.
Like, he doesn't even realize what he's doing is wrong. Then Anthony starts posting pictures of my transgender child. This is the sick that he is. So Anthony is a horrible individual.
John also lies and says that people go after his minor children when the eldest 2 are well above the age of 18, the eldest being my age for Christ's sake. And without checking, I believe the youngest is also a legal adult. Now, he may be lying to gain sympathy like many cows do, or he may legitimately not remember that his children are legal adults due to his booze-soaked brain. In reality, John very likely may not see his kids. I'm not going to go too far into this and bring the whole video down, but it was revealed recently that after his divorce, John only applied for more custody of his children once he started going broke so as to lower his child support payments. And after his ex-wife Susanna was remarried, the kids' wedding speeches came out, and while not directly speaking about him, they paint a very clear picture that John was an absentee father as they were growing up.
Aaron, he likes to build. Not just boats and furniture, but trust, love, relationships, and family through patience, kindness, dedication, and deep care. Aaron is the most incredible father.
Wow.
I'm sorry, again, how long has he been the father?
Can we pause this for just a second here? So we all know that he's a builder, and quickly it's going, but okay, whatever. That's what he does for a living. But look at this guy. He's building our family through patience, kindness, dedication, and deep care. If I were to read between the lines here, I would think those are 4 things that the previous father was not doing.
You don't have to read between the lines.
I know.
Yeah. They pretty much drew a map. I mean...
Right, because the next sentence is, Aaron is the most incredible father.
Yeah.
Now, who are you comparing that to? What other fathers? I mean, you haven't had every father, right? So what other father are you comparing that to that he's the most incredible father?
Our last father left because he couldn't have pizza every night.
He got tired of pizza, right?
Yeah. Good point. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Aaron embodies that as
Smell
a dad.
some fish and, Dad took his shoes off.
But she's basically saying this guy's whole purpose is to teach you and prepare you for the future and being an adult.
Yes.
That's what that sentence is all about.
Right.
Yeah. Sounds like this guy is a grown-up.
Again,
right.
This is the role model these children needed in their lives.
If this is all true, then John does not care about his kids, but he has no issue with using them as a shield against the trolls. Fucking shameful. A truly repugnant human being.
Do the trolls contact her?
I think so, because she texted me and said, "Yeah, Dad, it just sucks that us kids have to deal with this." And I know that they're mad at me, but I just sent them an email, like a text, because I've been seeing a therapist, because of the stress it's putting on me and the kids,
Yeah.
And so I wrote them a text. I go, "Listen, I know you guys, get abused because of my celebrity, but just remember that, my celebrity was able to put you in the best school district.
Oh my God.
My celebrity put you in great homes, and my celebrity, put college funds away for you and took care of you and took you on great vacations. So, you gotta take the good with the bad. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have both ways.
And do they
Do they contact your eldest?
Rarely. That's the only one who's got he's got physical and mental issues. I mean, he's just like a recluse. But the other two are, they're fucking achieving fucking crazily,
How about them apples?
Golly.
Hey, you're getting fucked with. Too bad. Your dad's
Deal with it.
Yeah. Deal with it.
Holy shit.
Deal with it. Because of my celebrity.
To make things somehow even worse, John is also a gigantic hypocrite.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
He claims to be both a feminist and an ally of the LGBTQ community. But not only is he a giant misogynist who objectifies women and insults them once he realizes they'll never sleep with them, he's also a giant homophobe. Like I mentioned before, John claims to have masturbated to nudes of Carl's wife until he was told that having nudes of someone without their explicit consent is illegal, and that it doesn't make him look good, because he needs to be told that. He also aggressively hits on every single woman he finds attractive or that he even thinks will sleep with him. And if they reject him or make the slightest joke against him, he starts calling them things like crunts and cum receptacles.
What's that?
That's hilarious.
You insulted kindergartners with that. They are smart.
Oh, look at you, Pocky's fucking sperm receptacle. Look at you, sperm receptacle. You gotta now fucking put me down. Look at Keanu. Let's trash John. Keanu, you're a loser. You're not that hot. You got no boobs. You're fucking a fucking glorified fucking porn star. Shut the fuck up. You try and talk like you're smart to overcompensate for the fact that you're an idiot. Thank you. Fucking Crunt. And by the way, you idiot on Dabbles Anonymous, Crunt is a fucking alternative rock band. Look it up!
Because that's what a feminist does, belittles women if they won't fuck him. Definitely not objectifying them whatsoever, just like Cyrax. A typical incel. Not to mention he brags about the hundreds of women he slept with. Sure, whatever you say, buddy. And going from there, if John has someone he doesn't like, he often implies that they're gay, while simultaneously claiming to be an ally. He does this because, just like Cyrax and early Christian, John deems LGBT people to be inferior to him and objects of ridicule.
Wait, what am I thinking? I miss Jennifer. Jesus, I love her. Who the heck needs this threesome crap? You fucking cocksucker, bone-smoking, faggot, homo piece of shit.
While simultaneously claiming to love his children, two of them identifying as members of the LGBTQ, and good for them. John has gotten upset when people have asked him if he would ever sleep with a man, with zero malice or insults, and for a while, trolls would ask him if he would have sex with a pre-op trans woman. John is so dumb and transphobic, he thinks that saying no to sleeping with a trans woman makes him a bigot, when actively dodging the question actually makes him look much more bigoted. Just say, no, I'm not sexually interested in trans women, you idiot. Not to mention, he often calls Bob Levy Barbara and Carl Lady K to demean them either as women or as trans women. Take your pick. And heavily implies that Carl may be gay because he and his wife do not have any children. He then smugly announces that he has 3 children, as well as had 2 STDs in the past, proof that he has had heterosexual intercourse at least 5 times. As if gay and trans people either A, cannot have children of their own, or B, are unable to adopt children. These are likely other factors as to why his children,
John makes a big deal about having children. I keep telling him, go to any slum in the hood anywhere. Kids everywhere. Anybody can do it. No big accomplishment. Dumbass. What's an accomplishment is how you fuck them up. Trans girl, gay girl, and a son that wants to have nothing to do with you. Good job.
whom are biologically female and members of the LGBTQ community, have little to no interest in seeing him. John, you are so goddamn stupid that you make yourself look like a way bigger bigot than just by saying you hate women and LGBTQ people. Like, I'm a huge proponent of free speech, but you seriously need to shut the fuck up and save what insignificant reputation you have left.
She said I use racial slurs. Bullshit.
She said you said the F word for gay slang.
Never.
About her boyfriend, because he said he likes to snuggle all night, and you said, what is he, a FAG?
Nope. That's bullshit. That's a fucking downright lie. Outright fucking lie. That's defamatory, isn't it?
Well, it would be if it was a lie, but take a listen, everybody.
It wasn't on tape.
Yep.
He drinks espresso martinis.
Yeah, that's a bag.
All right, moving on.
By now, you'll have obviously noticed that throughout this entire video, I've been comparing John to different lolcows that share similar traits to him, the two most common ones being Cyrax and Christian. King Cobra comes in at a close third place, but he's not nearly as aggressive or vindictive as John is. This is because John is the epitome of a lolcow, much like Chris and Cyrax are. For a while after Chris went to jail, people kept saying that Cyrax was the new Christian, but a reputation you have left.
She said I use racial slurs. Bullshit.
She said you said the F word for gay slang.
Never.
About her boyfriend, because he said he likes to snuggle all night, and you said, what is he, a FAG?
Nope. That's bullshit. That's a fucking downright lie.
John's lying again.
Outright fucking lie. That's defamatory, isn't it?
Well, it would be if it was a lie, but take a listen, everybody.
It wasn't on tape.
Yep.
He drinks espresso martinis.
Yeah, that's a bag.
All right, moving on.
By now, you'll have obviously noticed that throughout this entire video, I've been comparing John to different lolcows that share similar traits to him, the two most common ones being Cyrax and Christian. King Cobra comes in at a close third place, but he's not nearly as aggressive or vindictive as John is. This is because John is the epitome of a lolcow, much like Chris and Cyrax are. For a while after Chris went to jail, people kept saying that Cyrax was the new Christian, but I had to disagree with that. John is the new Christian. John is slovenly, homophobic, angry, dumb, gullible, a terrible liar, threatening, constantly nostalgic for the good days, always e-begging, delusional, and of course, constantly trolled, just like Chris. He's also very dependent on his elderly mother as a grown man.
With someone and then... No, not coffee, ice cream.
I thought you asked me just setting it
No,
up. I didn't make it yet. I was just setting it up.
Yeah, can you make me a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
But can you put ice cubes in it?
Oh, that's very
Yeah, like a big cup, like iced coffee, you know?
I better put my hand in.
But fortunately, he's nowhere near as bad as Chris is with his mom. I compare him to Chris more so than Cyrax because while having many of the same qualities as him, John is not a sexual predator, nor is he a pedophoric like Cyrax, and as such does not deserve to be compared to him past the surface level like any of the other cows. But John fits Chris to nearly a T, with his delusions of grandeur of still being a celebrity and getting back into show business, as well as believing he has millions of fans around the world. You slap on a Corza medallion and mention the dimensional merge, you have a 60-year-old, half Puerto Rican alcoholic Christian Weston Chandler. My point is that John is sort of like the next generation Christian and a quintessential example of a lolcow, because John's entire personality is centered around one of the core concepts that make up these cows, a complete and total lack of self-awareness. But unlike almost every single other lolcow, John has had a significant fall from grace. The man went from being a character on Howard Stern, beloved by millions for his asshole-ish antics, to being an alcoholic who no one remembers, and anyone that does remember him now despises him. What does John's future hold? Just like Bob Levy, I'm not a doctor. But John is not long for this world if he doesn't start changing his ways. He had a stress test for his heart recently, and while claiming everything was perfect, a stress test is only done if your doctor suspects that there might be something wrong with it.
He also said that he had a blockage. years ago, and they thought he had a couple of heart attacks. So he lies. And now he says the doctor said he's perfect. No doctor is going to say that.
So he likely has heart issues, and he's admitted to having 2 strokes in the past. Combining that with his heavy drinking and love for whipped cream cans, I can only give him a couple more years at most. John, if you end up watching this video and getting this far, you need to ease up on the drinking and get off the internet. You're clearly miserable, and those 2 things are the source of your unhappiness. And before anyone says anything, I'm aware of the irony of me, of all people, saying to stop drinking and to get off the internet. I get the hypocrisy of it, but I'm able to limit myself. But seriously, John, you'll end up both physically and mentally much healthier if you drop these vices. It could only be good for you. Though knowing you, you'll completely disregard everything I've said.
He'll never drop it. He doesn't believe he has a problem. He believes he's perfect. He's delusional. And he's got alcohol-related dementia. So this guy's done.
Because I've criticized you heavily in this video while stating dozens of proven facts that you don't like. So do what you want, man. I hope you live a long and happy life. Because right now, the only real person that's in your way is you. Thanks to everyone who watched this whole video. It took me a lot of work to decide what to add and what to cut. John makes new lore literally every single day. I had too much to work with. But I think I did a decent job of just hitting the key points to the Dabbleverse and stuttering.
You did an excellent job. Well done. Well done.
John Melendez. Special thanks to channels like Who Are These Podcasts, the Shuley Network, Cardiff Electric, the B Dabbler Network, My Lost Interest, and all the Dabbleverse channels, as well as Dabblers Anonymous on Reddit for all the info and clips of Stuttering John. I would never have been able to do this video if it weren't for you guys clipping and breaking down everything he does. So what